All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Hope you're feeling sharp, feeling refreshed, and ready for what should be a relatively interesting Friday, or hopefully relatively interesting Friday. The I guess like the thing that's rattling around my brain here this morning is how the last couple Fridays here have been really exhausting trading days for me personally. So like just end up being days where I've been draining a lot of mental capital. I think probably a little bit needlessly. And so I really want to focus here today on making sure that I'm not basically like falling for that trap, right? um so today's mindset, or I guess like today's starting approach, is to be very defensive. And I don't necessarily mean defensive about making decisions or taking trades. Like if something sets up and it's perfect, I'm gonna trade it. But it's gonna be about really being defensive on protecting my mental capital once we're in some positions. I ultimately think that's probably been the thing we've done best here so far this week in general. And I say this as the like the team after seeing a lot of trades here this week, right? Which I really appreciate. And I've seen people thinking a lot more about the mental capital that they're using in trades, and I've seen people be a lot more proactive, right, in effectively making sure that worst case scenarios can't happen. And I think that today we should be really aggressively like building on those foundational skills, and that should really be our emphasis. So if a trade comes together, right, making sure that we don't go green to red, making sure that we're closing our PNL or closing our trades as PNL is increasing, really being deliberate in what candlesticks look like, right, post entry, and just like creating like a comfort zone almost in that obsession. Ultimately, I think that the more that we focus on those elements, generally the better trading goes. And it's one of those things where I think you have to be just tremendously proactive about it, not reactive. So if I have to react to something, like react to an emotional trigger, then generally my next move, we'll call it, right, is irrational. Like I don't know where it's going to come from, right? It comes from impulse, or it comes from greed, or it comes from fear, or it comes from stress. And when you make decisions based off of those triggers, you just set yourself up, right, to be in a bad situation. So today, all about being disciplined, calm, controlled, which I think we've done a fantastic job of here this week, and just making sure that we finish the week on the high. If if price action reminds me of Friday last week, where it's just like honestly a bullshit doji, um, I'm probably not going to commit to just like staring at it and watching paint dry. So we want to see enthusiasm here show up. We want to see some sort of indication that we're not stuck in indecision. And if we can get that established here this morning, then we should have ourselves an opportunity for a good amount of hopefully action. If it's just going to be like a dreaded creeping rally on a summer Friday, you know what, guys? I think we all have something better to do than watch paint dry. So let's see what markets have in store for us here today. But hopefully it's, an interesting session. So from an economic calendar perspective, not too crazy. I don't know why my Forex Factory is showing me US or non-US stuff all the time these days. Maybe this will work a little bit better. So yeah, nothing too crazy here today. Like we've got no data in the way. The only thing that I keep laughing about, I don't know if you guys saw it yesterday, but there was like the Trump and Powell press conference, and like the way that they were discussing the renovation, and the way that like Trump was smacking him on the back as he was telling him to cut rates. Like I couldn't stop laughing at it. It was one of the funniest things I have I have seen a politician do, completely unhinged. And I imagine that at some point here today, we're gonna have some sort of Trump report about Powell. That's just my guess. But yeah, if things get slow, I'm just gonna be watching those videos. All right. All right. So ES, let's start here. So red candle, decreasing volume, gap up, right? So 1 for 3 non-trending markets. And so we're looking for either a breakout, right, above previous all-time highs, so 420, nice, or we're looking for a rejection basically off of all-time highs, which we've potentially seen here pre-market, and then a breakdown under like 400. So in this plan, right, when I say ORB fake out at all-time highs, based on the daily time frame, right, we've already had that kind of setup trigger potentially happen, right, which is why we're writing that down. So intraday, we're not going to need to see a fake out above ATH. We're going to need to see potentially a fake out above the opening range, or just a clear breakdown lower. All right, and then so we're going to look at 63.90 as our starting point here. And expecting the 400 area, right, to be covered by the opening range. Oh, the hard hats was a fantastic touch. That made me laugh so much. All right. NQ. So pretty similar story, right? Red candle, decreasing volume, gap down though this time. So we're going to call this a weak. 2 out of 3 there to the downside without volume. And it's weak because of the candle shape, right? It's higher highs, higher lows, bullish characteristics. Shape here is kind of like an arrow pointing up, not an arrow pointing down. Oh, no way, Willard. I haven't seen that. That's unbelievable. Okay, to the upside here, we're looking 23,500. I don't think that needs to change. To the downside here, we're looking 23.3. Again, doesn't need to change. So NQ, pretty much the same plan as yesterday. All right. CL. So bullish engulfing candle, bullish engulfing on volume. So we'll call that a 3 for 3 there to the upside. Maybe some sort of indication here of potentially trending price action. We'll see. It's still same thing kind of as yesterday. Like this CL chart's so ugly that it's really hard to want to be super into it. 66.50 would still be the starting point. I can maybe go to like 70, but it's hard for me to be super interested in this because it's literally been just a month of it being stuck. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. So I'm not, yeah, not super optimistic about this, but could be in play. Okay. Apple, red candle, decreasing volume gap up. So 1 for 3. Tesla, I mean, increasing outlier volume post earnings, always expected. So we'll call this a weak 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume. Again, probably looks like it wants to, or it's going to try to fill that gap here at some point. Will it sustain? To be determined, but certainly seems like probably before you get a bearish continuation, you would need to get some sort of rejection inside the gap. All right, Microsoft, 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. Amazon, 3 for 3. Nvidia needs to break out 174. 1 for 3 though. So again, we had an inside bar Wednesday, week consolidation Thursday. We'd like to see a pop here eventually. AMD, 3 for 3. Wow, almost the same price as Nvidia. That's crazy. Good for you, AMD. All right. Meta, red candle, increasing volume gap up. So 2 out of 3 to the downside. Looks a bit like Apple, right? Kind of reminds me of that. Pretty similar look, maybe a better volume profile on Meta. Hey, Netflix, 1 for 3 to the upside. And Google, 192, big rejection candle, gap filled post earnings in one day. Pretty impressive. So red candle, increasing outlier volume, technically a gap up. So again, 2 out of 3 to the downside with vol, huge earnings vol. All right, and then implied range here today of a little bit less than 1%. So again, maybe not expecting it to be the craziest of sessions. Maybe a little bit quiet, right? Maybe a little bit boring. That's what we've seen the last couple Fridays. Kind of historically what happens also in the summer, truth be told, right? Like think about how you feel at your day job. You know, Friday afternoon, you're like, all right, it's time to go home and do something with the family or whatever it is. These Wall Street guys do that on a whole nother level. When they don't want to work, they don't want to work. So, yeah, I would think that a Friday here today, or potentially just has the opportunity to be very quiet, very slow, and that's why it can be the most tilting, right? Because you never get like that relief of the anxiety. So when things are slow and markets aren't really moving, and you get tilted, you end up just going in trades that move, you know, a little bit one direction, a little bit the other, and you don't get that like crazy move that either blows you out or gets you back. And so you just keep compounding that anxiety until your drawdown is so small you can't survive. We want to avoid, right, those types of scenarios, and just make it easy for ourselves here to be in control and to trade with like yeah, a proactive mindset. I think that's ultimately been the sort of theme that we've talked about here this morning. So excited to see what the market has in store for us here today. Actually was able to get through the prep on time, so that's wild. And yeah, hopefully we can have ourselves a great session. Any questions here, team? No, I mean I'd be willing to potentially trade CL. But I just think it has the most challenging standard for me to get like a trend day, right? So if I'm looking at CL from a just like what it's done over the last month, it's just not moved, right, relative to what the indexes have done. At least the indexes have been creeping higher and giving us some enthusiasm. So you can get the pre-market line here on individual tickers by here making sure your lines is set, and then pre and post market price line is ticked. All right. So again, we're gonna keep an eye on this NQ pattern, right, that I've been watching. So that'll be the first thing to keep an eye on here on this open. So I'm just getting all my accounts logged in here. All right, sweet. Okay, so not a clean breakout by the looks of it. Maybe. So this is where we'd be. I mean, like we've talked. You guys remember the paper trade we took on Wednesday with this? I think it was. Um, the range on that was like 45 points, right? Which would have made it very difficult to justify our risk reward ratio. Now this isn't going to give us any triggers here or any setups, but hypothetically, this would have been a justifiable RR just from profit target to stop loss, right? So we would have had no problem buying in at that retest of the opening range. Now, no setup trigger, so not worth diving into that deeper, but that's ultimately what we're looking for, right? When you get that 20-point range, all of a sudden things are a little bit more reasonable. So pretty small ranges here so far. Smallest of the week, right? By the looks of it, my font is overlaying in the most annoying way possible. So that's a classic. But like 3.5 points, I think it was now maybe like 5 points on ES, so 4.5 points on ES. That's smallest of the week, I think. And 8.5, 8.75. Yeah, so smallest of the week here so far. Probably getting indications, right, of that slow day here potentially. Now let's see. Sometimes you get compression early and then an explosion. Kind of sounds weird, but effectively what we're kind of banking on here now is like markets are, I don't know, getting their they gotta like wake up a little bit here, maybe. All right, so it's 66 here on crude. Not a fantastic open there either. Look at how much less volume we're at the open here too relative to yesterday. Like that's close to 30% less, I would say, right? Or 40%. So we got to be patient, I think, waiting for this volume to return, right? We're seeing small ranges accompanied by thin volume. Not exactly a formula for a monster move. Yeah, we're not going to get increasing volume here. So again, we're going to have to be patient. The setup, but it's a setup that is missing confirmation. Okay, so we're just waiting for volume now. Let's see if we can get something to go up. Excuse me. So maybe this would be the opportunity where we get that early morning fake out. Yeah, we're going to need a lot more volume and probably a breakdown through the opening range low. Oh, excuse me. Okay, minute to go. We should be able to get the volume. Okay, we've got volume. So let's see how this closes. We'd be targeting this 289 area. So realistically, probably want the aggressive entry technique here. Can't really afford to pull back too much more. Otherwise, pullback would have to look like this. Realistically, stop loss should just be high a day instead of high of our confirmation. the difference of 3 points is probably worth it to have that extra fake out insurance. But this pullback feels just like this pullback did after this little initial movement. I would like to be very, very patient here. Like reference price, I'd even push it up higher. I'd go like 70-ish if I'm going to be trading the pullback, and basically trying to give it as much runway so that as it pulls back into an entry zone, that I'm giving it as much time as I possibly can to let it basically exhaust itself. The name of the game here today, right, is going to be extra patient with our entries, because when markets are choppy or things are like moving slowly, you don't necessarily and this might sound bad, but like you don't necessarily make money because of your strategy. Sometimes you make money because you buy deep discounts and you give yourself an opportunity to basically buy yourself a head start for your strategy to work out. So like I want to be careful how I phrase that, but we can be profitable here today because of our entry timing, and use that to basically create insurance for ourselves if markets want to be slow or they don't want to give us that like super aggressive trend breakdown. Yeah, and so far we're not getting any reason to suggest that we still need to be hyper aggressive here. So yeah, for sure, good day for Capital Preservation Friday. It's been a strong week. So why ruin it, right? And I hate the feeling, like for me, there's no worse feeling than screwing up your trading on a Friday, or like making a mistake on a Friday and then wallowing in it all weekend. Oh. So I mean, still an inside bar, so that pullback technique is in play. But the fact that it wants to instantly pull back towards the middle point, right, of the opening range, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the strongest reaction. Yeah, not by a ton. Like they do look similar. ES's volume quite lower, I would say. Like if I were to criticize it for anything, I would say that the volume looks more enthusiastic on ES, or sorry, on NQ versus ES. Like I said, I still have no real reason to have gotten into this trade here yet. CL, yeah, no thanks, buddy. Oh. So, I'll tell you guys while we got a bit of time here. So, uh, yeah, I've been talking to you guys about a little bit. I've been biking a lot, right? And obviously, so many trails here, so many places to go riding, and it's tremendous fun from a fitness perspective. I've been starting to ride clipped in, so it's like special shoes that lock your foot to your pedal. I was biking yesterday. I went to go stop and I forgot I was clipped in and just like tipped over Humpty Dumpty style. And so I was just laying on the ground, bike attached, and it was chaos. I ride a Forbidden Dreadnought, Nick. It's like pretty cool mountain bike. Yeah, yeah, mountain biking, Barry. I felt like such an idiot. It was so funny. No worries, Dave. All right, so potentially still here. Logan, I'm so scared it's going to be shit. Okay, so let's just watch, right? Give it a second here. A 3 candle pullback into an entry zone is a little bit scary. So my base expectation here is probably that it's going to fake out, which is why I went story time. Again, right? Just like force myself to slow down. Do you ride, Nick? Do you mountain bike? Oh man, yeah. There's nothing worse. Oh, see, I would love an electric bike. That'd be a ton of fun. But yeah, so guys, the reason I'm saying fake out, right, is most likely because we've seen fake out here on the old ES. Oh, do it. Kiki, you should look into the forbidden electric bikes, like the Druid or electric one. It's so cool. And they're a Canadian company, and they're awesome. The guys are awesome. I've gotten to know a few of them a little bit. They're sweet. They're in Cumberland, on the island. Yeah. Oh, it just absolutely eats up rough terrain. It's so nice. Oh, Cumberland is epic too. Nice job, Kiki. You do some good traveling around BC. So again, guys, base expectation here is still a fake out, right? Now we're seeing that increasing volume, so even more confident, right, that that's potentially in play. And bike technology has gone so crazy, Willard. It's insane. Yeah. Like little baby motorcycles. It's crazy. All right. So, yeah, that would have just faked us out. So, good decision, or at least would have stopped us out. Maybe not necessarily a fake out here, but I think a good decision there. And just something about the pulse of the market didn't feel right. Yeah, I'm in the like in the same camp as Dave. Sorry, where I'm too stubborn. Like I like the pedaling. But man, some of the like to be able to do alpine trails more often and easier. Oh man, that would be so nice. Okay, so now we're looking for a high vol breakout above the previous high a day. Maybe here on this 5 minute could be in play. And we got to be a little bit careful, right? We've seen price action failed. Yeah, dude. No, that's the cost of all electric mountain bikes. They're crazy expensive. Like you can't find one for less than 10 grand, it feels like. All right, so maybe we have a chance here. Again, we want to be careful. We've seen price action fail a bunch. I was about to say, I would have liked to have seen that fake out high act as support. It didn't. I mean, it still could theoretically, and we could still be in play. But like the first clue I wanted to see some sort of strong price action maybe failed. Now it kind of looks like it maybe just faked out under that spot and is now holding a little bit. I'd be looking at a 272 reference price of, it would be 384. Okay, so I'm going to watch this. Again, I'm going to be really patient clicking an entry here because we're so close to 400. Again, I think that's a potential spot where we could fail, and I'm still not convinced by the reactions I've seen here so far. Hey, John, what specifically? I'm not quite sure what to do with that. Like, that's like a little bit too generic. What's different? Again, like my spidey sense here, right, is still telling me fake out. Freeman. I don't know if it looks much better. Yeah, ES looks a disaster. Same thing with CL. I mean, it looks fine. Okay, on the 3 or on the 5. On the 3, it looks terrible. I still am worried about this 400. Hey, John, if you could send me a screenshot of your chart or something, right, I can give you some feedback, but I don't know which part of your chart, right, looks off. Yeah, Chandler, great question. That's not necessarily like a level of analysis that I do like that formally or like with those specific rules. Generally, what I'm looking for post entry is for my candle or my next two candles, right, to give me a really strong indication of momentum. So the way that they would do that, right, is to hold it with a strong candle shape and a strong volume profile and then hold higher highs. If I get two out of those three things, then I'm expecting for the move to continue and to basically improve my probability that my idea is correct. Generally, if I get like two of those candles back to back, then I'm probably expecting pretty good continuation. So the way that I look at it is not necessarily on a retest into my zone and then the next 15 or 30 min candles. But if I get that strong reaction there post entry on the time frame that I entered in on, I'm expecting it to give me that follow through. So a similar concept, but I kind of look at it a little bit differently. Like I just don't really like doing multi time frame analysis. Effectively, what it is. Like if I enter a trade on the 3 min or the 5 min, I should be doing all my analysis on that time frame. All right, so we're possibly looking here for a move towards 500. That'll be the starting point here. And the stop loss for now would be like 389. Reference price would be 400 or better. So we're going to start to set this up. 23,389. And I'd just be looking here at 2 contracts, guys, if I can get it. If not, I have a chance here potentially. Okay, so watching closely here. Didn't quite get under 4. Hey guys, I'm in 399.25, 2 contracts, stop loss 389. Oh, I got stopped out. Yeah, you need to go into your settings and click one-click trading. So it'll be here. You want to do instant order placement. That'll remove that confirmation requirement. Well, that might have just saved you some money. I did ultimately get that 400 fake out. Fuck. Well, it's minus 430. Oh. Oh, fuck off. Don't ask me to update my computer in the middle of a trading day. That's ruthless. We're going to get the volume. Close. We're really close. just, just under. I thought for a second there it got bigger. Shame. It is a bit of a fake out now. See if this 400 can hold in some context. That might be able to give us a re-entry target here. 50 seconds to go. We are likely to get increasing volume on this, so we might get another shot at this attempt. Okay, is it going to give us a strong close? Probably would prefer the aggressive, right? Continue to see 400 act as that support. If we're going to go pull back, then you're probably looking at here, 382. Reference price would be something like this, 390. So you're looking at 8 points of risk approximately. Okay, so watching closely here. I'd be looking at 3 contracts on an entry under 90. Again, see if we can get a discount. Okay, sweet. I'm in 387, 387, stop loss 382. 3 contracts. 387, guys. Sorry, I need to manage this a little bit before I write it out. 387, stop loss 382. Got to get over 400 here, right? That's what we're looking for pretty desperately. Oh, I'm not feeling great about this, to be honest. A little bit of a nervous energy, actually. Like to see it. It's got to push aggressive here. It's got to push aggressive. Okay, much better. Much better. Now we want to see that 400 separation, right? Give me that pop up and over. And let's see if we can push. Okay, that's got to be my reason to get out here, guys. That was a terrible reaction. Get out as P&L is increasing here. Hey guys, I am out 394.25, 394.25. Yeah, that felt like shit. Weird. Yeah, like that for sure is a reason to get out, right? Reset, get impartial. It was like the rug got pulled. Like I almost like I'm almost surprised we didn't get stopped out on that, to be honest. Like that it didn't get to 382. I'm a little bit surprised by that. But also, here's why we talked about trying to buy ourselves as big of a discount here today, right? That made it easier for us to be green. So all things considered, like the way we chose to trade made a big difference there. A bit frustrating with that reaction because we would have been up quite a bit more, but I still think that was positive. I think that was really positive. And it looked pretty shitty on ES. I don't, Mark, I don't know where if I see these dojis or if I agree with you that these are dojis. Yeah. Yeah. 2 points away by the looks of it, but yeah. That would have been a very frustrating stop out, right? That would have been a super frustrating stop out. So I think it was good management to close. And again, yeah, like I said it out loud, I think, but I had a weird feeling about that trade. Something felt weird. Yeah, if it's strong, it'll give us another chance. Exactly, Kiki. Yeah. And that's the feeling I'm trying to keep rewarding here a little bit, right? So, like, probably at the start of the week, I maybe would have convinced myself to hold through that and then hope I get bailed out, which maybe in this situation I would. But I think the value of listening to what your gut is telling you, resetting, getting impartial, and then jumping in is a better outcome. We also absolutely nailed our stop loss location on that trade. Absolutely nailed it. Well, we just saw obvious location, right, where we've seen price action find support. So if this is our confirmation candle, but we've seen a fake out find support like a couple points lower, why not buy the um yeah, why not buy the area where you've seen support happen already? It's like on this trade where we talked about on the pullback, we wanted to see high of day. If this is our confirmation, but high of day is right there, why not just use high of day? So it's like by default, I'm always asking myself, okay, stop loss low of my confirmation or low of my entry candle. And then there's going to be exceptions where sometimes there's another low right beside it that makes sense to set. So like for example, like a more maybe common variant of that, right, would be, let's say, yeah, I mean, this is the better, like the more common example, right? You get a reversal signal or a confirmation so close to high of day or low of day that it's like, a couple points away. You may as well make the difference. Yeah, for sure, Jack. I think it is one of those days where you're not green right away. You want to get out. I mean, we're green right away, but it was the green right away to retest below our entry price to then green again. That doesn't scream healthy, right? So let's see if we can get something. And it is a little bit of a shame because that would have been a great entry for what would have been a now 415 move, but part of it. Might just be scraps today. Maybe we're starting to get signs of a possible rejection here again. And this is pretty range bound so far. Rejection, I'd probably like to see it get back under 400, especially if we're open up, 409, right? That type of range. Shouldn't be too difficult. Oh, wow. Okay. I feel like I'm 50-50 on what side of the coin I fall on when Trump talks. Like I've had some that are just absolutely face rippers in my favor, some that just are like the the hardest slap across the face stop loss. And then that one's a little bit of both. Well, no, I mean I just filter them out. Like I just turned them off. I know what my looks like. The arrows there were when I was back testing this strategy or back testing this thesis. That made it easier for me to be able to visualize all of our stop loss or all of my my trades, right? So it'd just be easier to go back. Okay, here's an arrow. Does it match all my criteria? And it just allows me to train my eye, I guess, if you want to call it that. Yeah, exactly, Kiki. That's it. Like so much of what trading is making it easy for yourself to lose small. Easier you do to like the easier you make it for yourself to lose. I don't mean to like take dumb trades and to like whatever, but I mean like when to take a loss, you take it easily. The more we do that, generally the better things go, right? Like we can make mistakes in a uh multitude of ways and still be profitable if we're not honestly making too many tremendous mistakes in our position sizing or risk management. All things considered, we haven't missed out on too much. Who wants to guess the P&L here on the day so far? You guys are gonna laugh at this one. $5. I'm at $5. Yeah. Oh no, for sure. Let's go, guys. Hey, ramen on you, right? Yeah, if we can get increasing outlier here, we have a chance. It's under 400, right, which is positive, but I would like to see just a little bit more enthusiastic volume. Although today almost feels like a little bit like opposite day, where maybe it's and this is very Galaxy brain, obviously wouldn't act on this, but maybe it is just the low vol grinds. So let's see if this thing closes on the 5-man with any enthusiasm. It looks a little bit like some slow range bound PA. I'm just trying to think of all the things I can buy with my $5. And that list is a lot smaller than it used to be. Like I can't even get a Subway footlong for that anymore. Yeah, get yourself a McGriddle or something. If you can't get a good chocolate bar, you got to get something shitty. That's not worth it. I get 2 liters of gas. Maybe 3. Oh yeah, yeah. It's hockey player, any. I don't have a Little Caesars around me. Let's go, Mark. Congratulations. Hey, any day to be green, guys, is a day worth celebrating. Making $5 compounds a lot faster than losing $500, right? So even if I don't get another trade here today, which I'm kind of leaning towards a little bit, like we've tried to take a couple stabs here at what maybe was the attempt at trending PA. It ended up not really behaving that way. Like I don't know if I really want to be in another trade that's moved 10 points. The risk of I think the frustrating part would be finishing the day red when I don't need to. $5. $5. Nice work, I saw. Yeah, Ajay. So basically on the like on that initial move here, let's say on this one, yeah, probably this should have been my probably best entry. At the time, I was probably a little bit like paranoid about the fake out around that area because we kind of saw like a little bit of mixed signals here, right? So this candle initially kind of breaks out, but can't really break out above the highs. This one looks okay and was kind of willing to use it as my entry signal, but it was like a little bit of a compromise. So when it's a little bit of that compromise and I'm worried about that fake out, I'd rather basically invalidate that fake out anxiety in my head and then jump in. I probably also think I maybe didn't do a good enough job of that because once it flushed, I wouldn't say I necessarily panic closed because I did close as my P&L was increasing, but like I maybe could have been an extra 30 seconds, right? Something like that. And that would have been okay, a $300 day or $200 day or something. But I'm kind of nitpicking myself there. I think like balance of powers, if I do that on every time I feel like I get that reaction, I'm probably making more money than I would have made had I held. So I think probably the main reason why I missed or didn't take the entry there at 9:45, a little bit of a compromise setup, so didn't hold out and break through high a day. Was worried about a potential fake out, and just sort of like the market context here today has been choppy, and we were expecting it to be choppy. So I can kind of uh go in and yeah, right, like then when you're in the context, right, and you're seeing that jumpy PA, I think that then exaggerates, right, the expectation of it being a fake out, right? Because you're not getting kind of like that smooth price action. It makes you feel like you could get a fake out on your stop loss lower and then it goes, or you could get like a fake out higher and then retest of your stop loss. So I think what that jumpy price action probably acted like in the moment, right, is that sort of confirmation bias type thing. Um, but yeah, to be very honest with you, like once, and this is gonna sound bad, but once like I get confident that I'm not going to be super interested in that entry. I'm not quite tracking like what my emotional reaction was to that price, right? Or like I'm not holding on to those thoughts, if that makes sense. So probably my recollection, even though it was uh 30 minutes ago, of what that specific price action is, isn't maybe as sharp as it could be. Yeah, look at this. This is sucks. Yeah. Happy to be $5. I don't think I need to do anything else. Sounds good, Kyle. Enjoy it. It sounds like more fun. Like realistically, guys, I don't think I'm gonna stick around for too much longer. Any questions? Like pretty good Monday, Tuesday, pretty slow Thursday, Friday. We should go sometimes. All right, team. So final call for questions here. I'm gonna go start my weekend a little bit early. Which lines, John? So I would say, Seth, it should take like 10 to 15 trading days, give or take. Hey, you have a great weekend too, Donald. Which lines, John? Which lines? All right, John, send me a DM. I'll answer it there. But yeah, besides that, guys, have yourselves a great rest of the day. Enjoy your weekends. Refresh, recharge yourselves, please. Right, let's come back fresh and sharp here on Monday. Hey, honestly, can't be a much less boring week than what we had here today. But yeah, happy to be green every day here this week. Can't really complain about that. But yeah, market didn't want to cooperate for us enough here today. I'll take it, and yeah, hopefully we can get after it here on Monday and go from there. So have yourselves a great day, team, and I'll see you all then. Peace.